All right. Eddie Hearn, if Eddie Hearn ain't the worst person in the history of boxing, I don't know who is. This cat is blowing away Don King and Bob Arum as far as just, God, man, being morally bankrupt and straight up crooked. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, thank you so much to everybody in the Patreon. Check out the Patreon video that we're going to do about some new legislation, proposed legislation in Evanston, Illinois, related to the ADOS. I think you guys will enjoy the video. Also, thank you so much to everybody that comes to the live streams Monday through Friday on this channel, and then Sundays for our weekending show, OG Boxing Talk, with myself, Blood Boxing, KQKC Boxing, Trap House Boxing, and Curtis Anderson, where we wrap up the week in boxing. We have a very good, mature fan community of boxing fans. We don't allow any trolling, so you're more than welcome to come if you're not trolling. Now, let's get into this, man, and I don't say this lightly. I think as far as the most corrupt guy that I have ever heard of in this, or actually witnessed in boxing, man, Eddie Hearn is the number one guy. Number one guy. Okay. Now, I wasn't quite sure when it was just things like ticket scalping, right? Or and when I use these words, I want to be very careful, very, very clear with what I mean. When I say ticket scalping, that is a phrase that I use so you get a picture of what he's doing, but not actually explaining in detail what it is. So, ticket scalping, supporting and encouraging the use of performance-enhancing drugs in boxing, stacking referees, stacking judges, and now participating in an event that is in large part enabled by modern-day slavery. And I am not exaggerating in any of those things. Let me walk through this. The last of which I will go through is the modern day slavery, where you have a system in the country that this fight is supposed to take place in, where you have immigrants who come from other countries looking for work, who are then, when they get there, have their passports taken from them, who are given a sponsor who they work for, and have their passports taken away. And once they get in the household of that sponsor, they are then forced to do whatever labor they are asked to do, and they are not allowed to leave the country again. They are never given, they come into the country freely of their own free will, but they have their passports taken and they're forced to work in people's households on construction projects like the one that they had to build the stadium for the Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz fight. That, my friends, is what you call modern day slavery. When this fight was announced, we were joking around. I was half joking. I was dead serious when I said it, but I was joking. They're like, how are you going to get, a 15,000 seat arena built in that short amount of time? I said, that's easy. They're just going to run 24/7. They're going to get themselves some people that have to work 24/7. And if they don't do what they do, if they don't finish the work that they're told, they get punished. Because they have a lot of those people in that area. A lot of them. That is the original system. That's the original area where African slavery was developed. They've already got that. They have no problem doing that. Sure, it'll get constructed. They'll just use involuntary servants to do it, to put that politely. So let me go through the what I have seen Eddie Hearn either directly or indirectly involved in the short 2 years since I've been watching this guy. ticket scalping and getting over on boxing fans in the UK. That was lightweight. We're joking about it. It's not that big a deal, but pretty much this is what happened. You remember when Anthony Joshua used to sell out tickets in the first 5 minutes? Remember that? Where people would say Anthony Joshua is the most popular fighter in the world because, as you see, the demand for his tickets are so high that he sells out arenas in 5 minutes. I really think they said 3 minutes, but he sold out 100,000 seat tickets in 3 minutes. That, my friend, is what I'm referring to as ticket scalping. Because what happened was, and is subsequently made illegal in the UK, was that they would take all of these tickets off the market right away and put them in the hands of secondary ticket sellers who then sell those tickets at a higher price than face value. So imagine some sleazy dude, just to draw the picture. They say, hey man, we're going to have a fight and this is what we're going to do. We're going to sell 100,000 tickets. And then he immediately sells 100,000 tickets to his friend. And then he says, hey, the tickets are sold out. The tickets are sold out, man. This is the hottest ticket in town. Then you have to then go to his friend who he handed them to, and he says, yeah, I'll sell you this $50 ticket, but I'm going to sell you this $50 ticket for $150. So what was the face value of the ticket is 50 is now costing you 150 because of the lie that the tickets were already bought. They weren't. They were just moved over to a ticket scalper who charged you a markup. And then the UK version of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs made it illegal and said, no, you cannot raise the price of a ticket on the secondary market or hand them over to your sleazy friend and they match and upsell that ticket mark that ticket up by more than 10%. I think Wembley specifically said you weren't allowed to mark up their tickets by more than 10%. And since there's costs associated with giving the processing the tickets, that means you're going to only have maybe a 5% profit on your money. Something that you could get more. That's not a very big return on investment, right? So what happens? The first fight that happens in to Anthony Joshua was the Anthony Joshua Alexander Povetkin fight in Wembley Stadium. That, as soon as they put that out there, all of a sudden that fight did not sell out. They had thousands of tickets left at the end of it. It did not sell out. It didn't sell out at all, let alone in the first 3 minutes. Those tickets were on sales. It didn't sell out in the first 3 months as soon as they made that maneuver illegal. And note something else. Anthony Joshua has not fought in the UK since then. That's the ticket scalping. You can call it with the fancy term markup on the secondary ticket market, but in essence, it's the same thing ticket scalpers would do when they would go run. They knew something was going to be popular. They would try to buy 500 tickets of them as fast as they could and then wait for the rest of the tickets to get sold out. They held those tickets in their hands and then they sold it to other people. Right? Then you have not just that, you have the PED stuff that's going on this month with the fact that you on the same card in Saudi Arabia, Dillian White is fighting while he still has not had his B sample from the fight that he got in under the influence of performance enhancing drugs against Oscar Rivas. Still has not provided any clarity to that. But if allowing one guy under the cloud of performance enhancing drugs to fight isn't enough, Eddie Hearn going to double down and do it with Danny Jacobs and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is suspended by the state of Nevada because he would not allow himself to be tested. So instead of honoring the suspension, Eddie Hearn moves the fight over to Arizona. This stuff, so again, Oh, and I don't want to get into lying on Wilder. We can go on all that, 5,000 tickets sold and all that garbage. Just the flat out lies. That's just your usual crooked promoter stuff. But this guy is going above and beyond the call of duty, allowing people to fight under the influence of performance enhancing, a cloud of suspicion of the use of performance enhancing drugs while fighting in a stadium that is being built on virtual slave labor. Crazy. And I'm making up none of this. But hey, man, he's gonna take over boxing. This guy is one of the worst people that I've ever heard. Now, I know that he did not develop that system that they have to build that stadium. But he's connected to it. He's taking the money. Two bits of research could tell you what's going on in that particular area. That's why you had human rights groups being upset that you would even take the fight over there to begin with. Sports washing, some of the worst God, man, terrible. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Shout out to 78 Sports TV. Make sure you go over to his channel so that you can get the fuller explanation of what that law is over there in the UK. I mean, in that particular country that allows them to do that. I first learned about this over on 78's channel, but I had to do a video back up on it. And it is what it is. And let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.